All right. A pleasant good evening to one and all, to all of you in the class of Steele Youth this evening. It is an absolute pleasure to have you with us this evening. Apologies for the slightly delayed start. We were having a brief discussion prior to the starting of the recording for class of Steele Youth this evening. And the time is now 17:23 here in London. Today is the 4th of June, 2022. My goodness, time sure is flying. Well, it's a pleasure to have you in class this evening. And this evening's session, we want to talk about something that's really, really critical. And I did a class yesterday in the adult class of Steele, and I think that for the youth, it is equally important to share this class. And those of you who are mentors or teachers of youth, this class this evening is going to be really, really important. It's called value added or value taken. Value added or value taken is very, very important. Value added or value taken. Why did I choose this subject for this evening? Is because I want to challenge us, and I'll give you the foundation behind this evening's presentation. The foundation is basically, when you look at your life as an individual, the older you get, there are two things that are going to stick out to you: the value that you have added or the value that you had taken from you. But every person needs to have this same gauge for themselves. So the persons that you're in relationship with equally, be it business, be it friendship, organizational, there's going to be something that is very critical: value added or value taken away. There's something interesting that I have discovered that is quite challenging for certain individuals. Life is made up of givers and takers. And you have to determine if you are a giver or a taker first. As an individual, you must first identify, am I a giver or am I a taker? Be honest. Be very honest and transparent. Let me tell you why to be honest and transparent. Am I a giver or am I a taker? Let me tell you why to be honest about it. Be honest about it because the one that you discover about yourself is going to tell you why you either have a lot of friends or why you have a few friends. Why you have a lot of people that trust you or you have a lot of people who do not trust you. Why you have a lot of people that are confident when you are a part of whatever is happening, or why you have a lot of people that are not confident when you are a part of what's happening. Do you add value or do you take away and don't leave anything? Are you a fly that comes and lands and lay your eggs and know that your offspring is gonna grow up in what is there and you're just destroying it and decaying it? Or are you a bee that's gonna come and pollinate and take the nectar from the flower, but when you leave, you're excited to carry that pollen and pollinate the next flower and add value and beautify? Which one are you? I'm going to be slow. The reason why I'm going to be slow is because a lot of us don't really focus on which one we really are. We just go through life. There are a lot of individuals that like me and they says, oh, Dr. Steele, I would like to be like you. the people that you associate with, the people you coordinate with and connect with. I like that. I wish that I can have that. But how many of you know that comes with understanding who I am as a person and equally the value that I add to others? Most people go to a fountain to get water. How many people go to a fountain to clean up around the fountain and make it look nice? Nobody really does that. Most people just go to get water. How many people go and reach out to find out how much water is in the fountain? Is it going to run out? Is it going to keep going? Nobody does that. Everybody just go to get water. Have you called your mentor, your friend, your partner, your associate to truly find out how they really are? Or do you just focus on what you want to get from them? And that's it. Let me tell you something about givers that's very unfortunate. And some of you are givers, and you might not understand the unfortunate nature of being a giver. I want to tell you about it. The very unfortunate nature of being a giver is that the world is full of takers. If you like it or not, the world is full of takers. There are those who will take and say, thank you. There are those who will take and they will never even thank you. And there are those who will take, and even if you are dying on your last breath, they will still try to take what you have because they are takers. And we as givers, or if you are a giver, you discover something that's very interesting when you are a giver. Takers don't think like you do if you're a giver. Write that down. It will help you. Takers do not think the same way givers think. They do not. They cannot. They will not. It's not possible, unfortunately. A taker will never think like a giver. Because the very nature that defines a taker and the very nature that defines a giver are conflicting. Are you with me? If you go to a factory and they have this harvester and you have a planter, you know that a harvester is designed different than a planter. Is that correct? It's designed different. And I used to think you could make a taker a giver. I used to actually think that. Can I confess something to you? You can't. Write that note down for your own record. The same way you can't make a banana tree into a fig tree or a banana tree into an orange tree, you cannot make a taker a giver. Because the minute that you convert them into being able to give you something, the next person still has to do the same job you have to do because it's not their nature. Am I making sense what I'm saying? Wait about me if I'm making sense to you. Wait. Just tell me I'm okay. Some of you are struggling. Some of you are struggling with relationships, struggling with partners, with associates. You're struggling very badly. And the reason why you're struggling is because a lot of you have approached me as your mentor and asked me, what do you do when You have persons taking from you, taking from you, taking from you, taking from you, and they don't give back anything. I'm going to answer that question for you today. You have to decide if you're going to keep carrying a taker, or if you're going to decide that you need to derive some level of value from the relationship. And if you're deriving no value, you need to separate yourself. Or if you decide that you're just going to be comfortable to be a giver in this situation and just forget about yourself. But what if you are the taker? What if you are the one that is taking, and not realizing that you are actually abusing or taking advantage of that person's kindness? How do you deal with it? That's why you have mentoring. You have mentoring to challenge you to change. You see, change does not come overnight. My wife asked me a question, and I shared it in the last class. My wife asked me a question. Darling, how long are you going to keep allowing people to use you, and you don't get sense sometimes? How long? And I sat down and tried to find a creative answer for such an intelligent question. And I said to her, darling, in life, you can only be yourself. You can't be anybody else. The only thing you could do is get rid of people who have taken advantage, but you can't stop being a giver if you're a giver. You cannot. And to be quite honest with you, I love being me. How many of you love being yourself? I love being me. I don't ever want to be somebody else. I don't want to become somebody that's selfish. I don't want to become somebody that is mean and unkind to others. I don't. I don't want to have to be spoon feeding people kindness. Either I'm going to be kind to you or I'm nothing to do with you. That's just me. If I'm dealing with you, I have to deal with you according to who I am as a person. Who am I as a person? I'm a giver. I exercise kindness. But what I'm discovering that as you get older, you have to manage who you give you to. Write that down. Manage who I give me to. Because if you don't manage who you give yourself to, you'll get old and tired and frustrated and angry. So with that being said, challenge yourself to discover, am I a taker or am I a giver? Challenge yourself to look at those that are taking and are not adding value, or those you're taking from and you might not be adding value, and determining yourself how to be different. It is going to take time, and it is a process. It is unfortunate that bishops and reverends and pastors and mentors, it is unfortunate that we are givers. And the reason why I say it's unfortunate, because everybody, I think, in life can be better, or everybody I think is going to be okay, or everybody I think you can work on if you do this and do that. The unfortunate thing is that sometimes after a very long process and a very long time of relationship, you discover that you were wrong. This person is not here to add value to you. This person is here to add value to themselves. And in adding value to themselves, they're just sucking you. And you're not becoming any better as a result of that person being around you. And mentors have to go through that process and decide we need to sometimes leave some people in their zone. Uloma knows what I'm talking about, because Uloma, you deal with all types of people on a daily basis, continued basis. And there's some individuals you recognize this person isn't getting it. I have a lot of individuals that the minute they meet you, you know why they met you. They don't hide it. They're with you to take something from you. They don't hide it. They don't take time to see how they can add value. They're just immediately taking. So let's get away from this point and let me shine some light on some things for you. Do you want to be really successful? Extremely successful? Let me give you the secret. It's easy. How can I add value to you? That's the question to always ask. How can I add value to you? Every person that I meet, I secretly look at that person, their environment, where they're going, what they're doing. And I have a mandate as a person, as a mentor, to make their lives better because they met me. It's a mandate for me. I'm going to make your life better because you met me, with or without your permission. That's my mandate. My wife says to me sometimes, do you think you are Jesus? She says to me, do you think you are Jesus? I said, Donna, what do you mean? She says, you wouldn't allow me to get on the phone and talk to some of those persons. You stopped me from telling them the truth. And you come on, you ladies know what I'm talking about. You ladies that are married and have your husbands or your partners, that us men find it hard saying no when people need help sometimes. We find it hard putting people in their place because we don't want to hurt people's feelings, or we don't want people to know, excuse me, you're stepping on my shoes. We just decide to move our feet and dust off our shoes ourselves. And then when the person comes and stands on the shoes again, our wives are looking in, how long are you going to be stupid? Are you going to let him keep stepping on your shoes and stepping on your shoes? Are you foolish? But then we go into a little corner quietly by ourselves and discover, I wish I knew how to react and respond different. I wish I really knew how to respond different. You see, when your intention is building relationship, your intention is adding value, your intention is thinking that you can help someone through a crisis, you are torn between the way you respond. Are you with me? Now I'm going to share some unfortunate facts with you, and some of you will understand it. I'll share some unfortunate facts. that I want you to think about. And these are based on the neural associations. They are based on the psychological evaluations that govern the decisions that we take in life. If somebody is with you, even though you're a bad person, because the original thought is that they can help you to be a better person, it's unfortunate, but to break that association of thinking that they can help you is very hard, because they already know you're a bad person or a horrible person, but the reason they're with you is because they're thinking who they are can help you. Or ultimately, the other side of the coin is they're a bad person, but you're with them because who you are, you think will help them. And then it goes through a process where you are suffering very long and you just don't know how to get out of it. Therein lies the explanation why a lot of women are in abusive relationships, but they don't find it easy to get out of these abusive relationships. Why? Because they always look at what they did wrong to deserve or to justify the beating, the verbal abuse, or the atrocities that they encounter at the hands or mouth of that horrible person. And they continue in the relationship or friendship. I'm going to tell you something. I was on the bus just now. And as a mentor, it's good when you're a mentor, you tell individuals the truth and make them think. I don't pacify nobody. If I pacify you, I'm not a good mentor. If you're to blame for the stupidity or the difficulty that you're in and I don't tell you, I lied to you. If you're coming to me in the class or Steele as a mentor because you think I'm going to tickle your ears and tell you nice things about yourself as though you're the greatest person cause you belong to the class or Steele, you're the wrong place. I'm not here to tell you nice things about you. I'm here to tell you the truth. It's for you to deal with the truth and make yourself better, or look at those who are horrible and decide how you're going to deal with them in your life. That's what a real mentor does. I was in the bus and I was just going to a meeting and I was on the bus just now. I was on the bus and this Nigerian man was behind me. He's a Nigerian. I'll tell you straight up, he was a Nigerian. He was cussing this woman loud in the bus, right behind me. Loud in the bus. I'm angry with you. Loud in the bus. Loud. And I was trying to think of what I have to share in the class of Steele. I was trying to think about the meeting, but this man was sitting right behind me. Loud! Jesus of Nazareth. I was so angry. Listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm telling you the truth. I was boiling. This man was shouting at the woman in the worst manner in the bus, loud in my ears. He was right behind me. I was going to turn on my camera and just record this nonsense. It got the better of me, unfortunately, because nobody else could talk on the bus, on their phone. Nobody else was having a conversation. It was so loud. You know your people, Nigerians. I'm calling your culture, your name, Nigerian. He was a Nigerian man. I turned around, forgive me. And I will not do it in my house with the tone I did it with on the bus, because my neighbors would want to know what's going on in my house. But I turned around in as loud a voice as his and said, my brother, why are you shouting in my ears? Have I done you something? Why are you shouting in my ears like this? If you want to say this nonsense to the person on the other side of the phone, please say to her you are on the bus. And when you get off the bus, you will speak to her. Please stop this noise in my ears. And he said, I'm sorry, oh, forgive. Listen to me. And for the rest of the journey, I didn't even hear the man's mouth, but he was on the phone still. But I didn't hear him. And then when he got out, when he was getting out with the phone still, I shouted, nonsense, when he got out of the bus. Can I tell you the honest truth? A lot of people don't think what they're doing is affecting others. They think only of themselves. The way they carry on their loved ones, the way they carry on their employees, the way they carry on their staff. I've been to houses and I see how they treat their house boy or house girl. Can I tell you something? They don't even know. I will never visit their house again. Never. Never. Never will I visit their house again. You say you want to be like your mentor. How do you treat people? How do you value people? I know some of you in the class of Steele, and I will tell you directly. I will tell you. And I know some of you that are listening to me. I will tell you. But you will hear it yourself. You treat people horribly. You treat people horribly. When you are in the presence of people that are up there, in your opinion, you behave as though you are so special and so amazing. But on a day-to-day, if somebody spends a day with you, how do you treat people? How do you value and respect people? Do you know why this class of Steele session on Saturdays is free and I don't charge for it? Can I tell you? A lot of people would prefer to pay money to somebody who's going to tickle their ears. Let me teach you how to control people. Let me teach you how to manipulate people and get a big audience. Let me teach you those horrible things, those manipulative things. Let me teach you how to make people want to be obeying you. Let me teach you how to make money. But can I tell you the honest truth? The methods that I'm teaching you to be successful. Nobody wants to pay for these methods. Do you know why? Because these methods are called character, integrity, respect, values, courtesy. People don't pay for these values very easily. If I had to say to many of you, to pay for these classes, a lot of you will not show back up. Why? Because you don't see value in paying for this. If it's free, you can take it. But to pay for it, it's not worth it. I could figure this out by myself. No, you can't. Because truth of the matter is, a lot of wisdom that I have, I paid the price to get it. It cost me. Cost me friendships, relationships, marriages. It cost me. Why am I giving it for free? Why does it appear as though I'm just giving it away like that? Because if a lot of our people had it, our world would be a whole lot better place. There'll be a whole lot more people adding value. Rather than people just looking at what they can get out of the world. Everybody's going through difficulties and challenges and struggles at different levels. What separates us from each other? It is those who recognize that in order to get to the next level, you build, you work hard, it's patient, take your time, and you grow. But those who just see it as an opportunity to take advantage, that doesn't work. I want to say this to Africans, Africa, those of you who are listening and your skin is melanated. I want to say this to you. I've traveled the world extensively. Can I tell you the honest truth? Racism only truly exists where persons behave inappropriately and unseemly. I have never been racially accosted, abused, taken advantage of, never in my life. Oh, but don't worry, you don't know what you're talking about. Please allow me. You know, as Christians, you read the Bible and Paul says of religious men, who could be more religious than me? Paul could shake his shoulder. Of educated men, who could be more educated than me? Paul could shake his shoulders. Let me say this to you irrevocably. As a man who is well-traveled, I have been to more cities than most. Been to over possibly 120 plus. And I said cities, okay, cities. I've been to quite a few countries. I hold 3 legal passports. I'm an ambassador. I've traveled extensively. And I've discovered something in life. You get what you give out. I have never seen any issues with Christian to Muslim, in my opinion. I've never seen any major issue with black to white, my personal opinion. I'm talking about me, Michael, Dr. Steele. Why did I share that with you? What's the value? A lot of you are carrying prejudices that belongs to somebody else. A lot of you are carrying prejudices that you're carrying in your head, and you just meet them without thinking. You just walk around with a blind opinion about people. Oh, Dr. Steele, you don't know how the Nigerians are and the Muslim, Christian Nigeria. Oh, but can I be honest with you? I know how Nigerians behave even here in the United Kingdom. I know how Africans behave in certain countries. I see how they treat their children when it comes to other children. And then they tell you stories. You get what you give in life. Say that. Say, I am going to get from life what I give to life. Say it for yourself. Say it for yourself. I am going to get from life what I give to life. I'm going to get it. If I expect somebody to be dishonest and unethical and mean to me, and I treat them with that front, that's what I'll get. However, if a person is like that, that's all you will get. And then you decide, I need to separate myself from this type of person. Are you a giver or a taker? Do you add value or do you take away? What do you do? I want to challenge you so much. I want to challenge you how you treat people. I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you. Do you look for opportunities to bless those who have blessed you? Do you look for opportunities to do it? Do you look for opportunities to add value, or do you look for more opportunities to take more? How do you live your life? Do you walk through life thinking how great you are, how important you are, and everybody should bow down and worship you? Everybody should add value to you. Do you think about the people that are adding value to you and how could you add value to them? Do you think about it? Because I want to tell you the truth. A well does not think about how you're going to put water in it. It is just busy giving you water. Write that note down. Write that down. Write it down for your thoughts. A well does not think about how you're going to put water into it. A well just knows how to give water. Most givers in life are not beggars. So if you keep going to take, you will take until they can give no more, and they will die poor. Because they never begged you. They just gave to you. Somebody asked me, why are good pastors poor and a lot of good ministers, they just die poor? Why? I'll tell you why. Because I know quite a few very, very, very amazing mentors, some of my own mentors. Some of the people that I respect very highly because they spent their life with moral principles and values, just giving, 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 never asking. And a lot of their wives or their husbands are brokenhearted quietly because all they see is people coming and taking day and night, and they're giving and giving. But they never saw people coming and bringing a gift. Listen to me. When I show up, a lot of times, I show up with a gift. Is it because the person I'm showing up needs a gift from me? Not really. It's because wherever I go, I want to add value. All of you, listen to me. If nobody tells you that in order to get value given to you, you have to add value, I'm going to tell you, you need to add value. Because eventually people will just cut you off and you will wonder, why did they cut me off? It's because you never added any value. You just took. But on the same kind, a lot of you have people that do it to you. They just take from you. Let me tell you a little secret. If you don't cut those people off, there is a day that you will look back and all of that you've been doing, you'll regret it. Not because you were giving to get back. Get what I'm sharing with you. Not because you were giving to get back, but because you realized that in your giving, nothing came back. No farmer plants a crop and waters and manures it and not expect that he's going to get a harvest. No farmer. A lot of young ladies find themselves in problems because they find these nice men that give them this and give them that. And then one day they get asked, and all of a sudden there's crisis. Equally, a lot of young men, the same. These young ladies and they fight. And it happens both ways in human relationships. How many of you get what I'm saying? Everybody in life, they might not give to get back, but everybody in life expects they will have a return on investment. Everybody. You know what's unfortunate? What is unfortunate is when you find individuals that after you get sense, then they decide to abandon you and go to the next victim. Because guess what? The world is filled with people who are desperate for your company and your audience. And when those that are around you that realize you're just an abuser and a taker abandon you, guess what those type of people normally do? They fraternize with those around you. They court the favor of those around you. And because you're different, they abandon you or you abandon them. And then your friends are the next victim. Wave at me if you get what I'm saying. Wave at me if you get what I'm saying. It's like men that abuse women and then go to their best friend and tell the best friend, I will treat you different. You're different than she is. You're different than she is. You're not like her. She's horrible. Do you know how she deserved what she got? And you believe him. And then when you get close to him, you discover he's a horrible person. Or she is a horrible person. How do you match up as a person? You have to ask yourself this question. Am I a nice person? Or am I a horrible person? Be honest. Do you laugh when you dupe somebody and got the upper hand? That's his business. That's his business. That's her business. I'm sorry. But I'm better off. and you're smiling and you're smirking because you were better off. You left that person in shambles, broken relationship, frustrations, vexation, but you're better off. It doesn't matter to you. Or are you equally in turmoil when things don't work out for somebody you expected that they would? What kind of character do you have? You know, there's something that I say when I'm mentoring individuals on a one-on-one. I say, listen to me. I am not here to mentor the people that are around you. Do you know how he treats me? Do you know what he does to me? It's unfortunate. I can't mentor the people that are around you. I can only mentor you. I can only tell you how to behave. I could only ask you to evaluate your own behavior, attitude, and character. And when I listen to you, I could determine, do you deserve this treatment? Do you deserve what's happening to you? But I can't mentor your husband if you are talking to me. Or I can't mentor your wife if you're talking to me. I can't. I can't tell you why your husband don't come back home and he's always angry. Hey, how can I tell you that? He does this to me, he does that to me. How am I supposed to tell you why he does it? You have to look at yourself as an individual. Are you with me? Come on, guys, are you with me? And in the class of Steele, by the ending of this year, when I bring this class to an end, in the ending of the year, and I pin the class of Steele on you and says, yes, you've passed through 1 year of Ambassador Dr. Michael Steele. When you give us your review and you go through that interview with me and the chief of protocol in the class of Steele after this year, I will know if you understand how to be successful. Because being successful is not a leadership course, a 1-minute conversation. Go and do a crash course and you think you're a leader. This person gives you their credentials. I've been a leader. And they show you all these beautiful photos with them speaking to 1,000 people. You didn't know they only have 5 minutes to talk to those people. What are you going to tell people in 5 minutes that's going to change their lives so dramatically, that makes you so powerful? Where's your corporate social responsibility? Show me where you give back to your community. Show me where you inspire young people to be better. Show me where you are so awesome as a speaker, so proud of what you do. You love what you do. That it's not about the money. It's not about if you don't. Some people call you and they say, if you cannot pay my fee, do you know who I am? And they're shaking their head. Do you know who I am? Do you know the money I command for people? Why am I laughing? What are you going to talk to me in 7 hours that is going to deal with my issues with immigration, or my issues with character, or my issues with how can I deal with individuals? And what are you going to show me in a short space of time, as opposed to somebody who's going to say, I am going to walk with you for the next year? That's why I decided to help the class of Steele youth. That's why I've decided to put all of these videos here. That's why we, Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu, all of us that are a part of the class of Steele, that's why we decide, let's talk to you on all of these different subjects. Let's challenge you. Let's hit you hard. And let me see who's going to keep their cameras on and says, ouch, that's me. Because you want the truth? All of us fail in life. All of us fail in life. Every one of us, including me. Do you think you're sitting talking to somebody that's got it together? Definitely not. I still don't know how to cut off people up to this very minute. I wish I knew how to cut off people and just don't add them back. My God, if I could get that lesson right, my life would be a whole lot better. If I just knew, if I had a guru and I said I wanted to learn something, I think I would like to learn how to cut off people and just move on. I don't even feel a buzz about it. Don't even care if they live or die tomorrow. How could I do that? Some people know how to do that very good. Very good. And they do it very successfully. They will come, they will abuse you, take advantage of you, use you, and move on and live and sleep very good. They wouldn't even lose a night's sleep. So my kind, stupid heart does not know how to do that yet. And I hope before I die, I learn that lesson. But it's the same thing. Can a giver learn easily how to be a taker? Not really. Can a taker learn easily how to be a giver? Not really. Can an angry, mean person learn easily how to be a kind, gentle person? Not really. I'll share the link with you. There's the link for this evening's class, the chat. That's the link there. I want you to be the best you that you can be. And I don't want you to give up trying. It doesn't happen overnight. Change does not happen overnight. It takes time. But I don't want you to give up trying. If you're a mean person, start practicing being nice. Practice. Be conscious. If you're a horrible wife, practice being a nice wife. Practice how to make my partner feel better, how to mitigate some of the conflicts that we have. Your horrible husband, how to mitigate some of the conflicts that I have with my wife. If you're a horrible boss and you just bark at staff, you just get what you want done the way you want it done, and you move on. And you don't care, or you're not concerned with the journey that somebody took to get you what you want to get done. You just got it done and you're thankful, you're happy. There's a time that person will cease doing those things. And His Excellency, Dr. Michael Steele, thank you so very much for suffering this harsh class, because nobody likes being told off. Nobody likes being told you've got something that you need to deal with. None of us. Not even me. When my wife asks me how long you're going to deal with those type of people, can I tell you guys a secret? But it's not really a secret because you're on social media, it's public. I go and I sit down quietly in my office right here sometimes, and tears run out of my eyes. Tears run out of my eyes because, can I be honest with you? If I knew how to do better, don't you think I would do better? Do you think that I like being taken advantage of? It's the same with all of you. It's the same with all of you. I have friends that are multi-billionaires that are givers. Friends that are givers. And they call me. And they talk to me. And they say, Mike, there's a thin space in life. When you are very, very wealthy, everybody thinks you're the one that's going to pay their bills. Nobody ever think you have bills, unfortunately. Nobody ever thinks that you're struggling to make ends meet. They always think that you've got it together. Look at you. You're driving a Bentley. You've got 100 properties, 1,000 cars, and all of this stuff. Nobody ever think, hey, did you know that I just went and got $100 million loan? And that loan is because I'm investing in this property development and I have all of this staff to pay. I have 50,000 staff. Come on, somebody. Some of you have 3 people working for you and are belly aching. And somebody that has 50,000 staff and 1,000 directors. And you only see your need. He's a mean man. He's tight. He's horrible. He's selfish. Don't you think that if he has 100,000 staff, don't you think that those staff have family and loved ones that are having babies and have mortgages and have problems? Don't you think that they will have better access to him than you? Don't you think that he has his foundations all over the world, that he feeds people in Africa? He feeds people in so many different countries, or she feeds people. Don't you think that the reason she set up a foundation is because the needs are too great? Are you a taker or a giver? Do you just see what's in it for you? Or do you see how you can add value? I'm going to give you a nugget. If you have a billionaire friend that owns a bakery, he doesn't need anything. What could he possibly need? Why don't you go to a local supermarket that you don't see his bread and tell them, I know a man that sells bread. And I'm telling you, if you get his bread in your supermarket, it will increase your profits. And then call him and tell him, I want you to do me a favor. This person is selling bread. I just thought that your bread would be good in their store. You've just added value. Don't you think he'd be proud to hear your voice if you called him? You know a man that sells properties, and you saw somebody looking for a property. Why not say, hey, I know this man who sells properties. Why don't you go to him and buy a property from him? Most people just look to see how they can take away when they've never added. Be different in the class of Steele. Be different. I want to speak to my minister of youth. I really want to speak to him. Why don't you get 100 youth and look at his portfolio and see what he is doing and what he wants to do with youth? But he doesn't have the time to gather the youth himself. Why don't you gather 200 youth and go and tell him, I have 200 youth, and we would like to help you with your portfolio. Why must you run and go by yourself and beg him for the government's money when you could go and tell him, I have 200 youth and all of them know what your portfolio is. All of them know what you have to accomplish because I taught them, I spoke to them, and I want to bring them so we can help you. Are you a giver or taker? Do you add value or do you take away? The time is now 6:25. Thank you for your time. Now let's have some discussion. Be frank with me. Be transparent. Be open. Because the only way you grow and you get better is where you're honest with yourself. Pretty, what did you get from this evening session for yourself? Don't talk about people. Talk about Pretty. What did you get about yourself from this session?
Good evening once again, Your Excellency. And good evening, Dr. Comfort, and all the members of the class of Steele. This topic this evening is really amazing. I was reflecting on my life all the while we were talking, and I feel the same way you feel. I've been taken advantage of so many times. Like when I help people, you know, at the end of the day, they just take away and they go. No one thinks about you. No one wants to remember you or even care about how you're feeling. They don't even call you on the phone to check up on you. You know, most times when I give, I find out that maybe you help someone with a loan and paying you back is not a huge problem. Sometimes they even tend to pick up a quarrel with you or not even reciprocate. Sometimes when you call, they don't pick up your calls. And sometimes I begin to wonder, should I stop helping or should I stop giving? But most times I still find myself doing the same thing. When someone comes to me for any help, I give her, and later I'll remember I said I'm not going to give again. The same thing keeps happening. So I just remembered that once you're a giver, you can't just quit. You can't just turn to a taker. You keep giving until you run out of. The only time I don't give is when I don't have money to give or when I don't have anything to offer you. and I'll tell you I don't have something. But once you meet or approach me, I'll definitely do something. So I think that's my all my submission for this evening. Thank you, Dr. Michael.
But what did you learn? I hear you telling me about you, but what did you learn? I'm listening for what did you learn? What is going to be different about you as a result? That's what I want to hear. What are you going to try to do that's different? Because you see, a lot of times talking about what has happened to you and what is happening.
One, I learned that I can't.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Okay. Yeah, I know that I can't stop being who I am because of people's attitude towards me. I'll keep being who I am and offering help whenever it's needed. And then also trying to also teach people around me how to give and not only taking away.
Thank you so very much. Jail from South Africa. Jail, talk to me. What did you gather from this evening's class?
Good evening, Excellency. Good evening, Bishop, and all my fellow classmates. It's really, you have to dig deep, and if you're in that position, then it's not that deep. Myself, I'm actually just as guilty as charged, and not knowing how to get out of it, being the one who's always been abused. People always take from you and drain you, and in return, you run to your little corner and cry by yourself. And I need to work on how to get out of that space without hurting people and actually motivate them not to be like that, and the impact that they actually have on a person's life by being a taker, not knowing how you suck the well, and that person is human as well, and it makes you just extremely tired. And I will really practice from my side. I don't know how many years it's going to take, but I have to practice and try to be a bit firmer with people, and or learn at least to say no in some instances. But it is like Pretty also said, if you're that kind of person, it's difficult to say no. And I always say, I can't say no knowing that I have, then I'm lying. And that is not what I want to do. I want to help as much as I can. But how am I going to stop? Your Excellency, that is something I have to work on, really. Thank you for your class. It's really fantastic. I love it. Thank you, everybody.
You know,
Trial Africa, South Africa.
Thank you so very much, Jail. You know, the reason why I laugh in humility, the reason why is because I don't know if I give up trying to figure it out, or if I'm just going to keep being me and move on with life. But I will tell you something about me as I get older. As I get older, I make my circle smaller. The people that I find that I allow to be in that role where they have the ability to take advantage of me, I make that circle smaller and smaller and smaller as I get older. By the time I'm 70, I might just end up like a lot of my very wealthy billionaire friends that they talk to me and it seems like they're no friends. Everybody is just takers. And the few that they have as friends, they sit down and they have a golf game rather than having a stadium concert. They have golf games because that circle becomes so small as you get older. And maybe that's the lot of those who are successful sometimes. You have to learn how to make your circle smaller and smaller and smaller, because you will never become mean. You can't, but you just have to make your circle smaller. There's something else that I also say to my wife about ignoring a lot of things. Sometimes you just have to ignore some things and recognize you can't fix every problem. If it was up to me, every problem that I see, I would want to fix. I normally used to leave home and have money for all the a few persons on the street that you find. You give everybody a little bit. Then I think to myself, after a while, as I got older, you decide, I'm going to help one person and feel satisfied. I helped somebody today, or two persons and feel satisfied. Just have to change how you do what you do. But whichever way, you have to change. And as you get older, the model becomes more easier. You become more comfortable. And you don't blame yourself or judge yourself too harshly as you get older. I hope that that helps you, because that's how I am getting to be a little bit better with dealing with the emotional drama of a problem that I can't fix, or somebody that I might ignore. It is not because I hate or I'm angry, but it's because I just have to recognize I can't fix every problem as I get better in life. I want to ask Her Excellency Dr. Comfort Adu, our mummy. I call her mummy in the class of Steele. She watches over all of you. You have a mother. You ladies have a mother who watches over you, who's been there and done that. Your Excellency Dr. Comfort out of Ghana, just share your thoughts on this evening's class. You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Excellency, and a pleasant good evening to you all, especially to the First Lady and Josh, and upcoming ambassadors of our youth. It's very interesting when some of these topics gets up to us. Are you a giver or a taker? Actually, I sometimes say that, in fact, to be frank, sometimes when you give out so much and it gets the time that you have to receive, it doesn't always come like that. There are two, I always call it two types of giving. There's the real giving that when you give, you receive. As for that is true. And what you put in is what you get. But there are sometimes, like if you know how to, let it come a little bit home. If you know how to plait hair, that is what we say. If you know how to plait hair, if you plaiting so many people so that you don't get anybody to plait your hair for you. That is another wisdom that one has to look at when you are giving. Because you always want, especially when you are old like ourselves and your children are being getting married. Everybody wants a good spouse for their children, which is very true. Everybody, but one thing I always ask myself, what about your children that you are giving out to somebody that you think should be good or better? You understand? I hope you get me. When everybody's child is getting married, oh, I want a very good man. If it's a man, I want a very good girl who is very submissive, who is this and that. If it's I want a good husband who take good care of my daughter. But what about your daughter or your son that you are giving out? That is something that people don't normally look at. No, look at. So I mean, when it comes to this situation, what I always say that, or what I always do that, I pray when my children are getting married, I pray that their character is up to the standard. That is what you have to do. Make sure that what you are giving out is well presented, well prepared, well groomed. Then you can be assured that as you are giving it out, it will not fall off along the way. It will not get terminated along the way. It will not get spoiled along the way. That is why I always hammer that the class of Steele youth is for the global future, our future for the nation. If we are able to groom out a very good, sizable youth, we will not fear the future because we know that they'll be able to stand. Because there are two ends of a rope. When it gets into a hole, either the person inside pulls you down or the person up pulls you up. All both ends of the rope. So if you have a very strong person on one side, so it's very, very important as we are training you as leaders for the future. Take good care of yourself. Make sure whatever you expect somebody to give to you, you want people to give you joy, have joy in your sight. If you want them to give you love, have love in your sight. So that when you come, it's very, very important. And also as a leader, always think about the good things you'll be doing. It is very, very important. I remember when I was vying for the national vice presidency of our union then, I was competing with 5 people. And I don't know whether it was time frame or whatever. The MC got up and said that you people, we are giving you just 1 minute to tell us what you will do. Contesting for a 4-year position, you are given only 1 minute to tell the whole national executives what you will do when you are given the nod. I look at that, I look at the men who are, some of them, their strategies are huge, and some people have been holding positions like chairman of the regions and other things. I was a regional treasurer vying for a position. So immediately I looked at the loopholes in the union because I've been there with so many loopholes of the union. And so when I got up, we did what we just said, when I come up, this court case will be trashed out. This will be done, this will be done. And then immediately I saw that everybody was shouting, yay, because I looked at the necessity of the the necessity of the union, what at that point, material point, what they need. You see, so as you are a leader, you look at the needs of the people at a particular time so that you grasp it in your mind, whether you are sleeping, whether you are bathing, you are eating, you are doing everything, your mind is centered around these things. So that at any point in time when you are confronted with what to do, you know or you have the answers. So when I think of what you give is what you get, or you ask yourself, are you a giver or a taker? I did not stand up to say that I'll need anything from them. I rather told them what I'll be giving to the union. And that was exactly what they need. And that was exactly what I also did when I was elected. I made sure the court case, which was 9 years, was brought up. I made sure that the challenges that are being confronted with the union, I dealt with. So as a upcoming leader, that is what you must also look at. On this juncture, I will say, let me end here, so that somebody also can say something else. I will say good evening once more, and then have a nice weekend. I'm Bishop Dr. Kamfutus Leku from Ghana. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Bishop Comfort, I want to publicly and openly declare that I do these classes with so much joy because you are here with me. And I want the class of Steele Youth to know something. When you have an elder with you that cares about the youth, that cares about developing nations more than making money from you, you should pay attention. This costs us. I sacrifice all of my Saturdays. I don't go out. I don't do anything extra. because I sacrificed. I just came from a meeting. I told you I was out and I had a meeting and I rushed from a meeting. This is Jubilee weekend here. Everybody's doing something because I want to leave a legacy, and Bishop Comfort loves the young people and the nation of Africa. We see what's happening and nobody is giving back. Everybody's looking to see how they can capitalize on the young people. And Bishop Comfort, I love you. I love you as my mother. I love you as my friend. But I love you as one of those persons who have a heart for the youth of our nation. And you sacrifice to be here. I know. Every Saturday you sacrifice to be here. Thank you so very much. The class of Steele Youth are honored to have you amongst us. And I don't take you lightly, man. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to be doing the class of Steele Youth with you, ma'am. I just want you to know that.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I very much appreciate it.
Ujavanga Cavazeri. You see, I've learned to say your name. I've been practicing. It took me almost half a year to learn your name. Ujavanga Cavazeri. But I know it, and I'm so proud.
Yes.
Good evening. How was this evening's class for you?
Good evening, everybody. The class was good. It's the takers and givers class, and I think I've learned a lot from this class. And I think the most important thing that I learned is manage who you give yourselves to. You can only get rid of the people who took advantage of you, but you cannot stop giving if you're a giver. That's what I've learned today. And I can also say in life, sometimes you find yourself being like a taker because of your situation. And like you said, that you can only be yourself. Sometimes there are those stages in life where you're just a taker, you have nothing. Sometimes you have a rich aunt who is helping you and buying you everything. At that stage, you are a taker. But I think if you are well off, I think it's only fair that you also be a giver yourself and help those who need help. And I think that's how it should be. But like you said, manage who you give yourself to. So I think those that take advantage, you can cut them off and never stop giving if you're a giver.
Thank you so very much for that submission. I think, let me ask you, do you find it easy to cut off people? I think I want to ask you that. Do you find it easy? Tell the truth. Don't lie, don't lie, don't lie. Your wife is looking. Your wife is listening. Tell the truth, because you're a man, and I want to hear a man telling me it's easy, because I've never found a man that finds it very easy. How do you find it cutting off people?
I don't think it's easy, because personally, I don't deal with a lot of people, so I don't have to cut a lot of people off. Because I've always been a loner, you know. I really never had many friends, and I can't say there are people that I should cut off, because really I'm not a peasant people, if I have to say that. I just have a good relationship with everybody. This is what I've noticed. It's like I find myself having a very good relationship with everybody, but I've never really, of course, there are people who take advantage of you, but sometimes it's part of growing up, and you just, okay, they took my thing, and you just let it go. And, you know, sometimes as you grow up, you learn that that's just life sometimes, you know.
You see, the thing that you say is that you're not a people person. So for you, when you pass through the tongue, it is almost nobody really, you know, you just pass through, do you, and move on. When you go to church or when you go out, you just do you and move on. Me, as soon as I show up, everybody recognizes me. I almost acknowledge everybody I take time. I kneel down. I talk to the beggars on the streets. I talk to every single person that I meet. So I put myself in trouble just by being me, unfortunately. So I guess I need to take a leaf from your book and figure out as I grow older how to reduce my circle. Maybe I need to shut my mouth a little bit and mind my own business more. Thank you so very much. Agnes, Agnes, good evening, Agnes. If you're still there, unmute yourself and tell us what this evening's class has been like for you, Agnes.
Good evening, Dr. Steele.
Hey,
Good evening. Good evening, Bishop Comfort. And good evening, members of class of Steele. Today's class has been very inspiring and challenging. Ask questions like, are you a giver or a taker? Then it sends your mind thinking and wondering which class do you belong to. Maybe in between, if there's something like in between. In between the giver and the taker. But this evening I have learned to add value to people who do things for you, to appreciate them and to add value to them. I've also learned this evening that wherever you go, make sure that you are leaving that place adding value to the people that you have come into contact with. Today, class, you have made us understand that even though you give and people take advantage of you, it's part of life. I'm realizing that it's not just one side. It means most people give and then they are being taken advantage of. So what I do now is I give as much as I can handle so that when it doesn't come back, I'm still fine. So you don't give over. So assuming someone is asking you for 1,000 cedis, and then you know that the 1,000 cedis, if you give that out and the person doesn't pay back, you'll be in trouble. You give out what you're comfortable with. What if the person does not return? You are okay. You wouldn't ask back. So as much as you want to be a giver, you don't do it such that you get into trouble for it. So this evening's class has been wonderful. And I want to say thank you because you have sent our minds to the fact that when you see people that they have money, you assume they have money or they are billionaires. It doesn't mean they don't have bills to pay. That is what actually we don't always think of. We always just think that, oh, now that this person has money, the person would start paying your bills. But you forget that person also has more bills. Its expenses increases. On this note, I'll say thank you.
Thank you so very much, Agnes. And that's well observed. Most people, I want people to appreciate that if we open doors for you to sit next to very successful people, it's not because we're telling you this is your meal ticket. It is us giving you an opportunity to be in their audience to figure out how can I add value to those individuals. And when I add value to them, that value will be apportioned to you as well. You will derive value from added value. And that's what I want to teach individuals. Don't go and look to take from somewhere you never put anything. You know, a lot of people like to sing that song, you will reap where you did not harvest. You will sow where you didn't plant. That's a horrible mindset to walk through life. It's like trespassing. Wait a minute. I'm tired, I'm hungry, and you're walking through somebody's orchard, and all of a sudden you feel like, hey, here comes all these fruit for me to pick. You're a thief. You didn't plant those fruits there, you're a thief. Either you go and ask and let the person decide they want to give you, or have money and buy the fruits. Don't just see fruits and just go there and think, hey, you know what? I saw a fruit orchard, let's go. No. You don't look at a person's gift and skills and think, ooh, let me go and take, you didn't add any value. Add value. All right, Andrew Bugbearer. I see Andrew's there. Andrew, you're the last person I'm gonna let speak because we're gonna close class this evening. The time is now 16:53 here in London, and we get ready to close class this evening. I think that we've done a whole lot of justice to this subject this evening. Andrew, go ahead, please. State which country you're from.
Good evening, His Excellency. Good evening to Dr. Bishop Comfort and other members on the class of Steele. My name is Andrew Bogbiri Bogdo from Ghana, West Africa. Yeah, actually, this evening I've really learned a lot when it comes to giving, because what I have learned is that giving should be something that when we give, it shouldn't have that much of an effect on us, or the people that we give unto them, they should also be able to show some kind of appreciation, or they should add value to our lives. And if we are giving to people who do not add value to our lives, those people must be cut off from us, because they cannot add any value to our lives. And apart from that, as we are giving, it does not necessarily mean that we just give, or because the book makes us to understand that giving is good. Yes, we can give, but we have to also know, as we are giving, which area are we giving, or as we are giving to impact the lives of people around us, what are the kind of people that we are giving to them, so that their life will also be better and they can also add value to our lives. So far, this is what I've learned from today's session. Thank you.
You know, I want to acknowledge something that you said is very important, and because I wouldn't want us to go away with a misconception. You said if you give to people who can't give back to you, you shouldn't continue in that vein per se. I think I want to say something very important. You don't give to who can give back to you. You give because you're a giver. It's not about if somebody gives back to you. That's not the message I really wanted to get across.
Okay.
The message I want to get across is that if you're a giver, you need to identify if you are a giver or a taker. And then you also need to identify if people around you are givers or takers. And you need to manage your situations wisely. For example, being a giver to people who don't give back to you is quite okay. I give to hundreds who cannot and will not ever give back to me. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not that I'm giving to get back. But what is important is when you're in an environment where you realize that you are a giver, for example, a relationship, a personal relationship, that you're a giver and the person constantly takes, and it takes its toll on you, because there comes a time when being a giver can be a burden. And anytime that being a giver becomes a burden, especially if it's to a particular individual, organization, or group, for example, anytime that your giving becomes a burden, then you're at a crisis point where you have to manage your giving wisely. Either it's going to get to a place where you decide, I have to cut off this person or this organization or this group, or it's going to be at a place where you say, I have to limit my time and exposure with this person or this organization or this group, but never be a giver only to get back. Never do that. That's not what a true giver does. A true giver by design just gives. And it is our partners and our spouses, sometimes our board of directors, sometimes our members, our friends that look at us, and they're the ones that sometimes see what's happening to us. Sometimes we don't even see it because it's not important. But when they highlight it to us and we sit down and look at it, then we go like, wow. And like me, unfortunately, like me, and don't be offended when I say, a lot of times I say I'm a fool. A lot of times I say that about myself, that I'm a fool. And sometimes when people think that they're saying you're a fool because of what people do to you, they don't realize that you yourself actually see yourself in that light because you don't know how to do better sometimes. And it's a work in progress. But never ever live your life being a giver to somebody to see what you can get back out of it. I am not teaching that. I just want you to recognize how to identify where you're in a situation where you need to redefine your giving better. And you need to structure it in an environment where you're able to manage that relationship because every time you give, you're not going to get back. That's not going to happen. But just be in a place where you manage it wisely. And Andrew, I hope you understand clearly what I just shared.
Thank you, sir.
And you're clear with me, yes?
Yes, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for being in class this evening. I had a good time with you. And for those of you who were on the YouTube and on the other social media platforms, I want to thank you for listening. And remember, don't be hard on yourself. Sometimes individuals might be hard on you because of things you can't get together. It's not easy getting things together all the time. Nobody has it all together. None of us. I have meetings where I still wrestle with who I am and trying to be a better person. That will happen until I die. I don't think it will ever change because it keeps us going forward and trying to be better individuals as we get older, more mature. It also helps us to recognize what type of legacy are we leaving? What type of legacy are you leaving for those who knew you? What type of legacy are you leaving for those who give you an opportunity to have an audience with them or to impact their lives? What type of legacy are you building? The world needs people who are, I don't even want to say different. I think I want to say kind, benevolent, who are givers, who add value. Am I saying that they're not those people? Definitely not. They are. There's an equal balance sometimes of kind people, givers and takers. You might meet an amazing giver, but you might not understand that he or she has been so abused that they've just limited who they give to and how they give. Don't judge a person immediately. Get to know people. Take time to build relationships. Take time to understand dynamics of relationships so you don't judge people harshly, wrongly. But again, remember, and take this note from me, your mentor. Laugh at this one. If it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it rattles like a duck, my friend, don't spend the rest of your life trying to prove that it's a cat. It's not a cat, it's a duck. God bless you. I love you. Have a fantastic evening. And I hope that this evening's class was a blessing to you. For those of you who are in the Zoom community, I want to say a special thank you. And I need to say this. The Zoom community that we subscribe to, the Zoom network, I have gone way over the amount of limit that I'm supposed to have for data. And Zoom still have not cut me off. Even though I pay my subscription because I don't have a choice. But I want to say a special public thank you to the Zoom team for allowing the class of Steele to have these messages here, that I can help others and that I could be a blessing to others and that we could cause others to recognize they're special and they don't have to give up. There's some things in life you can't afford, but there's some people and some companies and corporations that exercise a corporate social responsibility to see that good content, good information reaches you, and they don't delete it and shut us down. And I publicly want to say thank you to Zoom. I want to say thank you to those on YouTube and those who have given us the opportunity in the class of Steele to be in your ears and listening and being able to share. Thank you so very much. To those who are subscribed to the class of Steele Youth and those who listen, thank you very much for giving the class of Steele the opportunity to be in your ears every Saturday when we share and during the week when we share. And to you, the class of Steele Youth, I want to tell you this, and don't forget this. When you invest on being the best you that you can be some of the things to some of the people, but you'll never be all the things to all the people. It's not those that look at you and judge you because they might not spend enough time to understand you. Don't be worried about individuals that judge you harshly who didn't spend enough time to understand you. Just continue to be the you that you are. Never become mean and horrible because of the mean and horrible world that might exist. Always remember the brand that you were representing is your brand. It's not mine, it's yours. And when people see you, people are gonna judge you according to your brand. Never let somebody judge your brand because of what somebody else make you think you need to become to succeed. Who you become as a result of trying to succeed is your fault, your business, your choice. God bless you. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you in the next class. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Good evening,
Bye.
Dr.
Thank
Al.
you, Excellency. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
next
Agnes,
week.
where are the kids? Where are my boys?
Molly, come and do bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, doctor. Okay. Yo, Uche, bye-bye. Jael.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
You
Bye,
guys have a great
everyone.
week. Have a fantastic week, guys.
Same to you.
Bye-bye.
And greetings to First Lady, that we miss her.
No worries. First lady has your back. You know how she is. Bye-bye, guys.